Hello, my name is Mackenzie and I will be today talking about in my video BC's fishing and canning industry and its developments within Vancouver. Now, we all know what Vancouver is technically almost famous for. It is quite well known for its views as well as some of the famous landmarks all along the harbor here. However, the harborfront looked quite a bit differently than how it looked nowadays back when industrialization was ruling the waterfront here. As you can tell with this photo right here on the cover, this is of a cannery that actually used to stand at the end of Gore Street near Chinatown. It was owned by the Canfisto Fishing Company, or also known as the Canadian Fishing Company. It was their home plant and base of operations here, mainly on the West Coast, and it officially closed in the 1990s. However, I'm not going to be talking about this cannery today. I'm actually going to be talking about one that was in an area not a lot of people realized. I am just starting the video here, however, on the other side of Cole Harbor, where you can still see those huge industrial cranes, showing that Vancouver, even though it might not look like in summer, is still a very heavy industrialized port, much as it was originally when first coming around as a city. Now, the next portion I'm going to talk about is over in Cole Harbor in particular. Of course, when you go to Cole Harbor, you normally think of the seawall, these huge apartment buildings, and of course, Stanley Park, as the seawall leads all the way down there. However, there was a part of the history of Cole Harbor that not a lot of people realize or understand what was there. Originally in Cole Harbor, there was actually a cannery, and here is an aerial photo of it. It was originally known as Bidwell Cannery, and it was built in 1928. The photo I have of it here is an aerial view from 1937, and it was originally actually protested against by the Vancouver Park Board during its initial development stages. However, the owners of the land and the cannery got their way and it was built. Now, the original owners actually sold it in 1935 and it was renamed the Queen Charlotte Fisheries by its new owners. And it lasted all the way as an operating cannery and later fish plant up until 1964 when it was finally dismantled, and nowadays that is actually where a lot of the new, well, semi-new apartment buildings are near Cole Harbor. And as I was saying from the original first bits of this discussion, they were not the only canneries. This was not the only cannery in Vancouver. As I mentioned, Canfisto had a cannery, and there was others as well. Now, as I mentioned, there was more than just one cannery here in British Columbia. There was actually over by 1901 about 70 or more in existence, with more and more popping up each year. This was especially true around the Fraser River deltas near Richmond and Delta and parts of Vancouver. Now, canneries were all over the province, but the more central ones were around here. Now, Vancouver actually had 4 canneries. One was actually in English Bay. There was one near where Marine Drive is nowadays. Of course, the Canfisto home plant, and of course, the one I was talking about earlier, the one that was in Cole Harbor. Now, these are the main 4 within the area, and if you looked around Cole Harbor to this day, you probably would not tell there would have been a cannery there originally. And you get a really good idea of what Cole Harbor looks like nowadays compared to how it looked originally within this video. As you can see in the earlier part, there was apartment buildings, Stanley Park, and it's just now this gathering place of people. And if you had visited here and not understood the history, you probably would not have realized it was an industrial complex. However, there are still hints of that industrial and fishing industry here in Vancouver. You just have to look where to find it. Now, along the seawall, there are these little plaques that talk about different parts of BC's and Vancouver's history overall. This one in particular talks about the Japanese boat builders who contributed largely to the canning and fishing industry here. And I thought it was quite ironic this one was here, so close to where one of the old canneries used to be, and shows that Vancouver still accommodates its history to this day. Now, on this page, I have just all the sources I picked from, and some of these sources I did use within my essay, my research paper. And what I liked about doing this portion and trying to understand is that it, even if the history is not shown, like the buildings are not there anymore, there's still that history there. You just kind of have to look where to find it. And that's what I thought was interesting with this hunt of trying to find where a cannery was originally. And I hope you all enjoyed this short video, and I hope it didn't, and I hope it encourages you to go looking for history elsewhere too. Thank you.